Seekers are live.
And good evening. It's Sunday night. This is the Drone Seekers live show. And as you can see, we've got lots of room tonight. Where is everyone else? Anyway, let's see who we've got here. This won't going to take long. Right, over that way is Marcus. And down there is Jackie. Well, good evening, everyone. And I was a few people join. Good old John. Hi, John.
Yeah, Mr. Coopy.
There's Facebook. Oh, no, where is it? Facebook. Hi, everyone. So that could be anyone we don't know.
That was me.
That was you. Oh, that's no good, Jackie.
That's no good, is it?
No.
It's come up. I can see it on mine as me.
Yeah,
Hi,
you
everyone.
didn't. You got to tell Facebook you're allowed to use.
StreamYard. Yeah.
Yeah, I got an email anyway. So, how is everyone? I hope everyone's enjoying the nice weather in the UK, and I think in Spain and in the US and anywhere else you are.
Yeah,
So
nice
it like
weather.
good weather all the way around. How long it's going to last? We don't know. Probably not.
This time last year was when we had the floods here.
Ah,
in Spain.
yes, yeah.
Exactly a year ago today.
We should actually have a feature on that, Jackie. We should maybe next week we'll I was reminded so people in Spain they don't always get nice weather.
No, when it rains here, does it rain?
Still can't believe I won, Michael. What have you won?
What did you win?
What did you win? So, do you guys familiar with Spin Up? It was online.
Yeah.
So it was on Saturday. I was the first winner. I actually won a mug that they're going to send to me. And then Michael Wright, I don't know Michael, what did you win? I must have missed that part.
Michael.
Yeah. So
jelly beans. We're the jelly beans.
yeah.
Well, I guess.
Gary.
Oh, well, good evening, everyone. Gary, nice to join us, Gary.
Gary doesn't have to bugger off at 1:45 today because Terry's not here to tell a joke. So maybe you'll stick around today, Gary?
Yeah, Gary, you would have to run away, honestly. Hi, Sally.
So did you see what Michael Wright said he won? He won the Mavic 2 Pro.
Oh,
really?
Wow. That's a bit better than a mug.
Yeah, it is a bit better than a mug. But congratulations, Michael.
Very well done indeed. A Mavic 2 Pro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So here's what happened on Spin Up. DJI donated one of all of their consumer products for giveaways. So they gave away a Mavic Mini, a Mavic Air 2, a Mavic 2 Pros. You saw. I don't remember a Phantom 4V 2.0, but they gave away one of those big Ronin gimbals for a big camera, and I'm sure they gave away an OM4. I'm willing to bet, but a lot of their consumer products they gave away. I'm not sure about the Osmo Pocket or Osmo Action, but it was giveaways from start to finish on that show. It was very entertaining.
What are you doing if you're not in the UK? Come on, DJ. Come on. We like flying drones as well. Come on.
Well, now, you guys could have signed up. Listen. It's an international event. You guys could have signed up, except for you'd have been up in the middle of the night. But that's all right.
I'm up in the middle of the night anyway. You know that, Marcus.
Okay.
Watching films I don't know the titles to.
Yeah. Michael said they didn't give away a Phantom, so.
Oh no.
And DeMarco said they gave away an Osmo Pocket.
That's my pocket.
Yeah.
See, I still think that's a great little camera. I love mine.
Good.
I mean, just when I first got it, I thought, this is going to be one of these gimmicky little things. I want to use it for 5 minutes. We go away and draw somewhere. The note is actually safely in my drone case. What drone case is? Evening all. Is that you again, Jackie?
No, that's Robert Miles.
Oh, okay. Oh, Robert. So watching. Well, right. Okay. So because I was beginning to wonder if anyone was actually watching Facebook. So
there's loads. We've got.
There are
Kim
some.
Payne is watching. So
there are some problems with between StreamYard and Facebook. StreamYard and Facebook at the moment. There's some problems. I'm not sure what the problem is, but StreamYard announced that I've got to re-sign up to something. So, and I couldn't see anything on Facebook on there. There was people coming on Facebook on there. So normally I get the icon.
David Vale's watching, and Robert Miles, and Kim Payne. So lots of people watching.
Well, you can always come into YouTube. Don't worry, we won't buy it. Anyway, we have got a special guest tonight, but
it's running a few minutes late.
He's running a few minutes late because he's probably in the was that the James River? Is it?
Probably.
Yeah, he's by the James River. Yeah, in Richmond, Virginia.
Richmond, Virginia.
Yeah,
Right.
you got it. You nailed it. So wow, good on you there, Steve.
Mike Walker camera. Hello, nice to drop in. Yeah.
Nice to have you drop in.
Yeah, you be our guest.
I've seen that logo before.
But it's nice to see we've actually got 20, 30 people watching allegedly at the moment. So if you hit that like button, we'd be appreciated. Or if you don't like it, hit the thumbs down. Some people do.
Mandy D is watching. Hi, Mandy.
Mandy, where's Mandy? Oh, she's on Facebook.
On Facebook. Yeah.
I can't see these names. You see, you'd have to tell me who they are. I don't know.
Yeah, I'll keep you informed.
We've got lots of people called Facebook users that confuse the life out of me.
Right, can I ask a question? Yeah, go on then.
Who wants to ask a question? Go on,
Right.
ask the question then. Do you want to buy my backdrop?
Yeah.
Go on then. Ask the question. What ask away?
What's going to ask?
Can I ask it?
It's got to be
By the
quick.
way, if you feel free to ask questions, I mean that's one of the reasons we like to come on here, really, because hopefully, well, Jackie or Marcus can answer. Don't ask me.
What?
Hey,
Don't ask me.
So we're talking
We're all here for the big giveaway.
What we giving away?
Yeah,
No,
Marcus.
we're not giving this away. But
Any good?
but I can show you a little of my handiwork with this guy this morning,
Cool.
if you want. If Steve, if you'll let me share my screen, I did what they call a motion lapse. Now you guys know what this is, right?
Yep.
OM4, and you put your smartphone in the top, and it
keeps it all level like a gimbal.
yeah, it has all kinds of magic tricks. One of which is a motion lapse, which is a time lapse video where it slowly moves the camera. So I put my iPhone in there, and while I was mowing the lawn in the backyard, I had that thing do a quick motion lapse recording. So, Steve, I'm going to ask you if I can share, if it's okay, if you want me to share.
Yeah, carry on. You don't knock yourself out.
Share. Let me tell you when you got it, and I'm going to start this thing up.
Okay, right, there you go. The screen is yours.
I am going to, well, it brought it up in iCloud Photos, which is not what I wanted to do. Sorry.
Not
Turn it
There
off.
we go. There we go.
There you go.
Oh, wow. Oh, brilliant. Look at all those people mowing your lawn.
So that was, you don't need to see that. Cancel. Here, one more time.
Yeah, ready. On your marks, get set, go.
Oh, yeah, there's
And
at
you see
least
Sarah,
three.
you look
At
real
least
quick.
three
And
people
it's
there.
Marcus call for coming down the first hole, and Marcus call for Marcus. Oh, okay. Yeah. There we are. So Marcus doing his lawn in very quick time. So anytime you're over in the UK, pop round and do mine, because mine's half the size, so a quarter of the size more like, so it'll probably take you 15 minutes less. So anyway, the question was, are the drone laws the same in Spain as same in Spain as the same in UK? I'd say less so. Jackie?
Yeah, I don't know. I feel they're a bit more relaxed here, but I don't know. It's still the same, isn't it? You mustn't go above 400 feet.
Yeah, but you don't have to register, do you?
Not yet. I think we've got it by the end of the year. Yeah, I haven't found out yet.
Gary, too much information, buddy. Way too much information.
Was it?
Yeah.
Yep.
That was literally about an hour ago. I did that.
Oh, wow.
Well,
Yeah.
Marcus said, wherever you're not sure where you live, but you'll pop round and do it later on. So
Yeah.
Here, John.
Watching.
I haven't watched any videos lately, so I'll have to. I'm sure you'll have to come on back onto the show sometime because I just love John's videos. You know, if anyone has seen John Coopy's videos, well, actually, a lot of people on here. There's some very talented people we've got on here. Kim, John Coopy. Well, there's so many of them. Just watch any video, and of course Marcus and Jackie. Of course, don't watch mine because they're boring. But if you want to know anything about drones, watch Marcus's.
Yeah, watch Marcus's, definitely.
Entertained all night and day, watch Jackie's.
So listen, Jackie's videos are brilliant. I mean, let me tell you, I don't think I've ever made a video that can compare to what Jackie does. So I'm gonna just leave that right now, right there.
See, you should try, Marcus. You actually got the start the making of one there with a lawnmower.
Yeah.
You see, you don't realise. You see,
It's fun messing around with that stuff. That's what you can do with those gimbals. It's kind of cool. They have those kind of little tricks, like, you know, looking at that one, I should have had the camera tilted down a little more. It was up too high. A lot of things, you know, that you can criticize, but it's fun just messing around. Those motion lapses are really fun if you've got a bunch of clouds going by in the sky.
Yeah.
You have the camera move across the sky and get some pretty cool stuff.
It surprised me, you know, Marcus, how many people are buying the Mavic Air 2. I mean, it must be a very successful story for DJ, I would think.
So I think you're spot on. Two things, Steve. I don't know, but because DJI plays their hand very close to the vest, they don't really give out any sales figures. But I guarantee you, I'm willing to bet the Mavic Mini is probably the best-selling drone that they've ever produced, and I'll bet close behind that is the Mavic Air 2, because it has really achieved a wide audience. And like John Coopy just bought one. He gave up his Mavic Pro now and has a Mavic Air 2 because it brings so much capabilities to the table. Let me tell you what, I'll step out on this limb. I'll say that the Mavic Air 2 is absolutely the best value in consumer drones today. What you get for $799 US.
I think that's what it is, Marcus, because it's, you know, it's a damn good drone.
Stick with us, Gary, because it won't be in a minute. We're all
employed by DJI now. They pay us now to say this.
Where is our guest anyway? He said he was going to be 10 minutes late. It's 15.
Well, you know what?
No, I know where he is. I can see him. He's
Is he coming?
Well, we can stop talking about DJI. Sorry, Gary. Sorry, we get me carried away. Sorry.
Well, listen, I fly.
I don't know any different, Gary. I've only got DJI drones.
I fly them all, so you know. I mean, and DJI always it's just the best product. I mean, that's all. And anybody that, well, I mean, it is. I fly them all. It works the best. It does what it's supposed to do. Now there's features that you can argue about, right? The different features that you could argue about, but that, you know what, Gary, the original Autel Evo, I don't have one, but I've talked to a lot of people that fly them. They have range issues. They have issues flying straight. Those are things that you don't. It's a great drone. Don't misunderstand me. The Evo is awesome. Don't take that the wrong way, but you just don't have those kind of issues on a DJI drone.
No. Right. Well, our special guest has just been knocking at the door. So, without further ado, let's do it.
Let's welcome this week's Drone Seekers live show special guest.
And here he is. Hey! Here's Mr. Al.
Wow, what an intro.
There we go. Nothing but the best for the best. There we are.
Up here. Okay, got it.
Welcome back, Al.
You're in trouble now, Marcus.
Yeah, I know Gary's a big Autel fan, but and they're great products. Don't misunderstand me. I in fact, my friend Ryan Duvall is going to send me his original Evo, so then I'll actually fly one, and I'll be able to tell you.
Gary said it. I mean, I don't remember Gary ever saying anything about that. But anyway, we're going to be our special guest. That's why we brought him on here.
Yeah, because we want to talk about another make of drone, don't we?
Yeah.
Yeah. I got a replacement. So that's a big deal.
One of the reasons, I mean, that Al was on a few weeks ago, and we were watching some very sort of scary, very daring flying with a certain drone called a Skydio 2, which you can't buy in the UK. Skydio,
Or
if
Europe.
but we are interested. Jackie wants them, and I'm thinking about it. Anyway. Digress. And Al just went out for a normal flight like you do, and unfortunately a bit of a mishap. So I'll show this, and I'm sure it's happier now.
So guys, right here, my Skydio 2 went in the water. I had 30% battery. 30% battery. My controller had 45% battery, and it decided to land right there. Why? I don't know. The return to home didn't work. I'll show you over here where we took off from. Okay, so guys, this is platform right here. This is the platform I was flying from. And I had to drone maybe 10-15 yards out, and it started landing right in the water. Why? I don't know. So sick I could throw up. So I'm flying the Skydio 2 from the platform, about 10-15 yards away, and it decides to start landing like now, and I'm just like freaking out. So at that point in time, I was like, hey Robbie, man, can you bring back your 2 and see if you can give me a hand, get this Skydio back? You can see as he's coming back, there's the Skydio 2 just hovering as he cruises back. And you can see me on the platform right here, desperately trying to do everything I can to get this thing back to the platform. As Robbie is putting his Mavic Air 2 away, you will see the Skydio 2 between the handrails. As I'm reaching down into my ruggedized case to get my beacon out, I figured, it last ditch effort here to get this Skydio, malfunctioning Skydio, back to the platform. You can see I'm grabbing beacons there as the Skydio 2 starts coming down. Oh my gosh, it was so sickening. I mean, I much rather just crash it into a wall or something, or into a wire, than watch it slowly descend into the water.
Gary was just saying about some articles he had to read on the Skydio 2, so yeah, worth a read. Anyway, you upset now, Mark. Anyway, Al, so I mean, I'm sure that brings back some somewhat painful memories, but
it wasn't Al's fault, was it, Al?
It wasn't. So Al, so after that video, fill us in from there.
Yeah, so immediately after, I made that video, I called customer support from Skydio right that evening, and I left a voicemail telling them, what happened. And that night, I made that video you saw, and then early in the morning, I posted the video and then shot an email to Skydio support. And they got back to me, and they wanted my logs and all this other information. So we went back and forth exchanging information. And then once the engineers actually got a chance to look at it, they determined there was a problem with software. Uh, so they had a bug in the software. So when it disconnected like that, it should have, gone back home, but it didn't. So it just hovered there until it ran out of batteries and landed. And unfortunate, every drone manufacturer that I know today will automatically return home when it runs out of battery or it loses a signal, right? So
you had like 30% left or something.
Say again?
I thought you had about 30% battery left, didn't you?
Yeah. And, I sat there for 5 minutes doing everything trying to get it back.
Was it still communicating with the mobile phone, or it just gone out, the app closed, or?
Nothing. So there's 3 ways you can fly this drone: with your phone, which you do a Wi-Fi connection directly to it, with your beacon, which it does another Wi-Fi connection using the beacon, and with the parent, controller, with the controller. And when you fly it with a controller, the first thing you do is you turn off your Wi-Fi on your phone, because your cable hooks up to your phone, and then the Wi-Fi goes through the controller. So the first thing you got to do is turn off your Wi-Fi. They'll tell you, turn off the Wi-Fi on your phone when you hook up to the controller, okay? And so, my controller wasn't working, so I was like, okay, let me just switch over my phone to Wi-Fi, see if I can get it back. And nothing worked. The beacon didn't work, my phone didn't work, and the controller didn't work. So it was just sad that, the Skydio 2 just ran out of power and just landed.
Hey, Al, I've got a question for you. So my last flight with the Skydio 2, I had 2 instances of the app crashing on me. Now, I think it was my own fault because I had updated the app to the latest update without rebooting my phone. So, sometimes that can create instability. When you do an update, you should do a reboot as well. But anyway, the first time I got out over a field, the app crashed. The drone did exactly what it's supposed to do. It went into RTH, started coming back, and then very quickly I got communication back and it came back. Well, I brought it back in, loaded another battery, and I was doing some of the one-shots, as Skydio calls them, and I was doing a boomerang. I walked out into the field, did a boomerang, and as soon as it completed the boomerang, again, Al, the app just crashed. So I'm standing there with the drone just hovering in front of me, and I'm thinking, it's pretty close that time. It's not like it was at range or anything like that. So I thought, well, it'll reconnect. So I get the app all fired back up, and it just wouldn't reconnect. It just kept, that thing goes back and forth and didn't reconnect. So because I still had the controller in my hand, I just simply hit land on the controller, walked under it, and hand caught it, right? But I was thinking, what if I'd have just been flying with the phone and not the controller?
I agree.
Of course, I was someplace that it wouldn't have been in any danger. It was maybe 10 feet off the ground. It wasn't up very high. It would have just landed in the grass. But it made me think of your situation. Fortunately, I had the controller, and I was able to hit land and just catch it. But what if I hadn't? Now, let me add to this. I did not turn off the drone. I walked it back and set it down on the bench. And then, lo and behold, I looked back at my phone, and it had then reconnected. So eventually, it did reconnect.
Slow.
But my gut feeling is that because I had updated the app and had not rebooted my phone, that the app was unstable. That's just my feeling.
I mean, it's a good chance. That's the issue there. You're going to have to test that next time.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you, Al. So did your app crash too? I mean, you had your phone on your controller, right? So you had full FPV on the drone as it hit the water.
Yeah, and one of the things that you do, if you pull the USB cable off your phone,
right,
and then the app says take control.
Yeah, that'll throw and
And so it throws that option there to take control using the different way of flight, right? Of controlling it, right? So I hit the take control, and I'm hitting RTH, pushing the virtual sticks.
You didn't hit land by the chance, Al.
Unfortunately, it didn't.
That did that on its own.
But as Marcus was saying, I had my bets. Before I flew, I turned off everything on my phone, including Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
And I normally start a screen recorder on my phone because I want to get all the information captured just in case. But I was in such a risky area, I didn't want to overtask my phone and overheat and then lose control, just like it did. So I didn't start the screen recorder at all.
Oh, what pity.
Right. We would have seen, the whole struggle there, all the buttons being pushed and everything. So I didn't start it. But I got my Skydio 2, and it took me about 2 hours to actually get it all set up right. A little bit of a struggle. So here's the controller, and there's a pair of controllers you guys can see. So you turn it on, and it automatically, open the lid up, turns on automatically. So to reset it to factory reset, if anybody else has to do it, you have to hold both index fingers, left and right, and then you have to push both of these buttons at the same time, and you hold it, and then you'll see your light just blink out and then come back to, see right now is a blue. It's a light blue when you're not paired and you're back in factory reset. So now I've paired it a little bit. It was like, usually you just, you plug the cable right to the back and right to the front of this guy, and it works just fine.
That's how you pair them. Yeah.
That's how you pair them. So let me give you guys some more information out there just in case, because, it's all about trying to help each other out here, right?
Yep.
And sharing information is probably the most important thing we could do for our hobby, right? Because these are expensive birds, and nobody wants to lose $1,000, right?
No.
So to get this guy here to reset the beacon, you have to push every one of those buttons at the same time. Every one of them.
Piece of cake.
Yeah.
How many buttons are on there? I can only see 2.
Right? So 2 fingers here and 2 fingers there, and that'll do. It's only 4 buttons, right? So we got 10 fingers. I think you can manage, right?
I suppose the idea of that is the fact that you can't do it accidentally.
Yeah.
Because why on earth would you do anything like that accidentally?
Yeah, and it's kind of like the old Vulcan death grip.
Control Alt Delete.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That works well for me.
All right, Marcus, I have a question for you. Today, I went through 3 SD cards. And the SD cards are put in here, guys. You can see them right here.
Yeah.
See right there?
Okay.
Okay, and that's how you get access to the SD cards, right there. Anyway, it would not fly unless it had an SD card that worked. Have you run into that one?
I haven't, but let me add, Al. So I'm using in mine a Samsung Evo card, and I don't think it's quite fast enough, particularly when you're in HDR and shooting at 60 frames. So I'm going to switch it to, because let me tell you what I see, Al.
Okay.
Sometimes I'm flying and I'll see the video skip. So that is a clear indication that it cannot write fast enough to the card. So I'm going to put a Mavic, or excuse me, a SanDisk Extreme Pro, which writes at 90 megabits per second.
That's what I use
in mine.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we all recommend. What the Extreme,
is that what you're using?
Black one is best right now. This one here barely works, right, which is just the Extreme.
Yeah, I think because that Skydio 2 is, because you're talking about HDR, you're talking about high frame rates, I'm thinking we probably need the Pro. And then I have never had it not operate, though. To answer your question, Al, I've always used that Evo, and I've never had it not fly.
But I'll tell you what, I've made 3 videos with the premise that you can fly this drone as good as any of the DJI GPS drones, okay? You just don't have the distance with the shortwave radio or transmission that we have with OcuSync, right?
That's exactly right.
But this thing will give you very good cinematic video because the camera is like, ooh, and then when you switch it into photo mode, the HDR rivals my Pro. The HDR, okay.
John,
So we need to explain that for a second. I don't want to let that go before we explain that. Because it's the FEMI, or excuse me, got FEMI on the brain. I've been flying that thing so much. The Skydio does not shoot in 10-bit, so it's not real HDR. It's an emulation, as opposed to the Mavic 2 Pro that does shoot in 10-bit, and you can create HDR with it. So that bears explaining. So true HDR is only in 10-bit, not 8-bit. So, for instance, the FEMI, the Anafi, they all shoot HDR, but it's an emulation. It's not real HDR because none of them shoot in 10-bit. Okay, yeah. More information than you wanted, right?
John Coopy made a good point, and this is a point that I watched a video. We touched on this before. There are a lot of fake cards around, and now I'm not saying. I mean, so one thing I would say is I think people should be very aware of where they actually get cards from, because they might look the real deal, but I can assure you, if you you might be buying a pig in a poke.
Agreed. The China syndrome is everywhere, right?
Yeah, I mean, I've actually got a program on my computer. Actually, you can put a card in there, and it will read and write and tell you the speeds, so you know whether you got. I mean, it's a bit late because you bought the damn thing.
But I'd love to. What program is that, Steve? Give us a
I'll send you a link to that because it's. Yeah, I will have to because
I know we often use it for benchmarks on our computers, but I guess we could just use a benchmark just like that for instead of using disk drive IO, we could just use.
It takes quite a while to actually, because obviously you put the card in, you got to have an SD slot or whatever in your computer, of course, because you actually put the card in there, and then what you do, I mean, I put the micro from the drone into the holder, and etc. But the thing is, I watched the whole. I was going with someone guy had actually made a video, and it made me think. So I got all my SD cards, and 2 of them were in the bin. I bought them off eBay. eBay for SD cards, don't go there. It really isn't worth it because I mean, they were. Oh look, they even keep saying Amazon have loads of fake SD cards.
God, I bought mine from Amazon.
If anything goes wrong, you just return it, man.
Obviously, it doesn't appear, but Best Buy is the go-to. I mean, at the end of the day, if you buy a card from Amazon and you can prove that it's fake, send it back. And one thing I will say about Amazon, you have no problem with Amazon. With if you say to them, listen, every transaction I've had, there's been quite a few from Amazon. I will because it's just ease of getting order one thing and it's there the next day. And the good thing about it is the fact I bought a webcam and it lasted about a week and it started playing up. And I just went back to Amazon and said, listen, this is rubbish. They sent me a label. I had to drop it off a local store for parcel collection. And even once I actually checked it into that store and scanned the barcode from the, they actually give me a refund there and then, not even when they got it back. Nice. As soon as I checked it in, once it was back in their system, that's it, refund. So Amazon, get my vote. A lot of people had bad feelings with Amazon, and I don't work for Amazon. I wish I did. Well, not work for. I wish I owned Amazon. I'd be a very rich person if I did.
I'll tell you what, Costco. I'm a Costco addict, and Costco will take here in the United States. Costco is like a big old warehouse shopping club.
Oh, they've got them in Great Britain too, Al.
Oh, good. Well,
Yeah,
anyway,
I think they've got some card. I don't know whether the one. Yeah.
don't take anything back. Open food and everything. I've seen people
Wow.
return open food. I was like, what?
Bill saying there, he said,
I never knew that, Bill.
So Al, tell us about what reply you got from Skydio.
oh, yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I was in the middle of finishing the story, wasn't I?
Yes, we digress yet again. Sorry, Al.
All right, let me digress back, okay?
Yes, digress. Rewind.
Yep. Okay, so contacted Skydio, we exchanged information, and then the engineers took a look at my logs that I had left, and because they wanted the logs on the drone, but obviously I didn't have the drone, so they determined that it was a bug in the software, and I was running the release that got released that night was the one that was supposed to fix the bug that I had that day. So unfortunately for me, that was the case. And
so if you'd have waited a day, you'd have been all right.
It took them a week and a half to get this to me. So I got a email a week later that with the shipping tracking information, and it took about 3 to 4 days. I got it before Labor Day here, which was September 5th is when I received it. And I made a video of opening the box. I haven't released it. And today I actually flew it. And that's why I was late. I was having fun with it. And I was flying with a buddy of mine. And I picked him up at his house. And then I drove to my house. He goes, aren't you going to my house? I go, no, you're going to take my truck to your house. Call me when I'll call you when I'm done.
Well, the good thing about it, Al, is the fact that, I mean, whether you say got lucky, I'm not sure that's the right terminology, but, it just so happened that they were releasing a bug to fix the problem your drone had. Now, well, I suppose if it had been fixed beforehand, it probably wouldn't have happened, would it? So I'm just wondering, but hats off
At least they knew it was a problem, didn't they?
Yeah, but hats off to Skydio customers. And realistically, so did they openly admit to you then, Al, that yes, we know of this issue, and yes, it is a problem, and yes, here we are as your new Skydio, because we were having a conversation regarding manufacturers actually never openly admitting that basically they've screwed up and they're wrong. Yeah. Because other Americans call it, you don't get DJI saying that, blah, 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 but,
Yeah, they definitely said they had a bug in their software to cause it to not return home and just land in its place. So the other thing is, and like we all discussed numerous times before, is when you don't have a connection, what does the drone do? Return it home. Mm-hmm. When you low on battery, what does the drone do? Return it home, right?
Yep.
Same problems that unless you've changed a variable in your setting to follow the controller and do refresh every whatever minutes to especially if you're on a boat, right? Follow the controller. That's home. That's fine. So you could do the dynamic return home button, right? But this was not the case. And I must say that Skydio support was perfect because they also sent me the battery that went down with it. Okay. These things are expensive, as you know.
Yeah.
Hey, Al, so you said you were out flying the Skydio 2 this morning. Can you tell us a little bit about that flight? I'm always interested.
Yeah, I first flew it with a phone just to kind of, I went through, the 3 scenarios that I want to fly at, right? First, I tested with the phone. Then I tested it with the controller. And I was a little rusty on my settings, so I was like, man, where's those settings that I need to change so it...
Well, so what Al is referring to, we should explain that, Al. So when you use the beacon with the controller, or with the phone, so you hook the beacon via Wi-Fi to the drone, and then you hook your phone via Wi-Fi to the beacon.
Right.
So
It's something about linking it all together.
It sounds way more complicated than it is.
Yeah.
The only part that Al mentioned earlier that can catch you is that when you are flying with the controller, turn off Wi-Fi on your phone, because what can happen is your phone can then automatically connect to the drone, and then you think you're flying with the controller, but you're actually flying.
Okay, yeah.
Right.
You put it in flight mode, in other words, turn it all off. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Didn't mean to interrupt, Al, but I thought it was explaining that.
Al,
So did you fly it over water? Like,
Yeah,
Gary wants to know. You did.
now you understand why you want to be really careful with this guy, right? And so one of the things that I ran into today, Marcus, when I had my phone in here, I touched the phone and then I saw my, virtual stick show up on my phone. I'm like, okay, how do I get rid of you stupid things because you're in my way? And I was, like I said, I was rusty and I haven't flown it for like 3 weeks now. Yeah, 3 weeks. So, our geriatric brains here take a little longer to reach that memory cell that has all that information. So I was like, oh, that stupid thing now. I got to figure out how to get rid of the virtual sticks on there, which I got rid of. And then, so I finished that testing, a little frustrated because I had forgotten so many things. And the last thing I did was test with the beacon. And this is, for me, the easiest flight because, you got a plus and you got a minus, increases and decreases altitude. Or if you hit this long enough, you can get into menus that you can switch back and forth with the arrow. So as you're flying and you have tracking mode, you can hit these arrows to position the drone around you. And, if you look at it, like military terms at 3 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 6 o'clock, or whatever way you want to look at it, right? So you're just riding your bike, looking at where it's a 3 o'clock, blip, blip, blip. You hit it 3 times, now it's 6 o'clock, and hit it again, now it's at 9 o'clock, and right then that it's pretty simple. This, I don't know, what's your opinion, Marcus? Is this the easiest way for you?
Yeah, I freaking love it. So the other magic trick that it has that you didn't say that's really fun to do is you can literally point the beacon at the drone. You hold down that blue button. You just move the drone, the beacon, and the drone will fly wherever you're pointing the beacon.
Ooh. Jedi mind tricks.
Yeah.
So, Al, Gary asked a question earlier on, obviously after the first one going for a swim.
Yeah.
How confident was you when you your initial flying the new Skydio 2? How did you feel? Did you feel like?
Well, I must say that, it's going to take me a little while to get my confidence back to get back over the water because of the fact right now, like I was telling you guys, is that, I'm rusty finding all these, knobs that I need to turn, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But once I get to that point, it was probably going to take about 2 more flights just to mess with all the dials and buttons and levers. And then once I feel comfortable that I know that under pressure, I can just find every lever and button that I need, then I'll take it out over the water. And I will, like we were discussing, one of the favorite things I like to do is pedal my bike across this bridge, one over water and cables, and have it track me, right? So the next, I know Marcus is going, but this time I'm going to do smart. I'm going to put it away from the cable so it's doing a profile track at 3 o'clock. And then as it's coming to the pillars, it's going to look at the pillars and go around them, hopefully not toward the cable.
But Barry in Spain, who Jackie and Terry know, he had his Mavic Mini went for a swim.
Yeah.
And hopefully he obviously he didn't get the drone back for obvious reasons in the sea. So the Mediterranean has gained yet another drone. But the problem is, I've heard stories with DJI saying, well, like your drone had an accident. Where's your drone? Just say to him, it's in the sea. The thing is, I think he's got some. Did he have some records or something, Jackie?
Yeah, you can get like the flight records, can't you?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how much of that information
Well,
you can get
see,
from.
my flight log when my little drone went off to Morocco, it stopped and it looked like it was still over the land. So the flight log stopped ahead of the actual flight finishing. So how can that be accurate?
Yeah. Gary said fly over a paddling pool first. Good idea, Gary. I must admit, flying any drone for me, I mean, I have done it, but I think when I do it, it's one of them like, I wonder if I'm going to get this drone back, because if it goes down in land, at least you got a chance to get it. If you see the Mediterranean, unless you fancy a good old swim, then you're not going to get it back, are you? So,
no.
What's your Marcus fly over?
And DJI, you can return any little piece and they'll give you a new drone, right?
I'm going to yell at Lauren Donauer here for a second. I'm going to yell at him.
Okay.
You can see it on screen.
Okay. I'm going to be selling just legs for you guys of any models, and you guys can just buy the leg and return it and get your drone back.
Oh, really?
So I've heard of DJI replacing people's drones if you can show that it was a problem with your flight records, that it was actually a problem with the drone. I've heard of them replacing people's drones, but I do know that Refresh, if you want to use Refresh, so Refresh is it's an insurance policy, I guess I'll call it, or warranty, whatever you want to say. It's not a warranty, it's an insurance policy that you pay for, that they'll replace your drone for a small fee.
Right.
Yeah, they do require you to return the carcass of the drone, and with good reason, because think about it. If they didn't have that in there, people would be saying, "Oh yes, another drone."
There'll be 20 drones in your pocket, right?
Yeah.
I've got this will probably be of interest to to a lot of people, I think, but especially John. I don't know if he's still there somewhere. Look, one of Bernie Said, I think that's how you pronounce it. But just have where are we? Right, here we go.
Oh, that looks fun.
That is some clever flying. Throw that with your Skydio too well.
Hey, what city was that?
Second,
What city was that at?
I'm not sure.
Bernie
I'm not
is
sure.
in,
I'm not sure.
I think he's in SoCal.
Yeah.
That's Bernie Seidler. He posts a lot to drone seekers.
I just love it. I just love these videos. I mean, we're always on the lookout for videos. I mean, so if anyone's got a video, what's the feature on here? Around about sort of 2.5 minutes. Because the problem we have is I have to then edit like Al's video. I mean, that was a lot longer than that. I mean, you appreciate I had to sort of chop lots of bits out, just keep the relevant bits in there to make it fit into this thing. So, StreamYard, can you up the ante on the videos, please?
So here is Koopy could fly like that. Koopy's got some dude.
Go find some tunnels.
Yeah.
We've got a Dartford tunnel over here, Johnny.
Well, it'll be anxious. There's a big rumor floating around that DJI is going to introduce an FPV drone, and if they can simplify it in such a way that even an old dweeb like me can kind of figure it out and be able to put it into GPS mode if you just need to hover for a second and get your wits about you.
That's the cool bit, isn't it?
We can all become FPV pilots.
Yeah.
I don't have any illusions of ever being able to do what people like John do and other people, but it would be kind of fun to do some of that dynamic flying that you see on those. Not to the extent that we see the really expert guys do, but it'd be fun.
But the thing is, when they first started flying, I mean, there's no way, unless they had lots of practice. I'm guessing maybe a lot of had practice on simulators and whatever first. So I don't know, but
years. It takes years. That Koopy takes years.
Yeah, John. I mean, obviously, when you start, I mean, John was flying. I can't remember when he said he first started flying, but I mean, he's good now, but he obviously wasn't always that good. And that's well, of course, Jackie, you saw Terry try it. I mean,
I was expecting him to be able to do something like that tunnels thing, and it wasn't like that at all.
Yeah,
no idea. Came not FPV Seekers International.
Clear very soon that my god, this is going to take a lot of practice.
And that's how you get a bag of propellers with your drone, right?
Oh yeah.
When you buy these drones, they come with a bag of propellers.
That gives you a clue, doesn't it?
But Al, somebody like you know how to glue, you know how to solder. What about people like me and Jackie? Well, Steve knows how to solder, but me and Jackie, we're out of luck.
Yeah, we'll just send them to these guys. Yeah.
You see, I love a challenge. When Terry sort of trashed his drone, I said to him, "What are you going to do with it, Terry?" And he said, "Well, I'm just going to buy another one." Because I assumed if you send it back to DJI, get DJI to fix it, we still would have done. Maybe at a price, I don't know.
Yeah, it was
more yes than no. And when he said to me, I'm just going to buy another one. I thought, well, I can't see this drone just go into the weenie bin or whatever you have in Spain. I thought, absolutely no way. And
I got my fat sharks in here and all that, and I got a couple little drones that I fly around, but I haven't posted anything yet because I haven't got that good at it yet. But I'm telling you, I'm looking for the ones that you see Captain Drones where you put your GoPro 7 on it. And I'm getting to a point that I'm not crashing that often. So, flying through chairs and chasing the cat and all that jazz, and watching the cat run for cover when this thing comes up. So I mean, autonomous flights are definitely the future. But if you look at Hollywood, this is the kind of flying they want because they want the skydiver, they want the diver, and Uncle flying off the cliff, flying right behind it, right, and it pulls up before the drone hits the water. I mean, that's the way it's going. And there was that little green hornet that was out from Deer Best that they put out. Man, that thing is like
Koopy has that.
Yeah.
Marcus,
Yeah, that's
that little bug for you, is that an FPV drone technically though?
No, it's GPS.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Can you,
No,
can you,
I do. I have a Bugs 6 that I don't know if you'd call it FPV, but it has no it has no GPS. It has no altitude hold or anything. You have to fly it all the time.
Yeah. And I'll tell you what, I mean, the $20 trainer, let me pull one up here, man. These things are like the funnest thing around.
I think one of us has got to start having it go at FPV and flying around because I'm going to get myself. So what's that? What is that then, Al?
And this is a $20 little drone. And I like him so much, I give him away a lot. And this is a brand new one I was going to give away. And, people are trying to learn to fly. And one of the things that they do so well is when they see how they duck the blades. See, all the blades are on this duct, and they're so fast. And the pickup, it punches up. And these little tiny batteries are 3 minutes tops. And
Well, that little thing that you're holding, can it do what Bernie just did in those tunnels?
it has no camera. This is a trainer. Okay, so this is, and again, if you look at this controller,
Stick a GoPro on it.
it's like a regular controller.
I mean, little GoPro.
It wouldn't fly, would it?
There's no screen on this thing.
Yeah.
Screen
Well,
on.
that's like one that John had a video, didn't he?
And
John Coopy had a drone. It wasn't much bigger than that. The controller.
So what John Coopy is going to tell you, the one you want to start with is the Tiny Hawk RTF ready to fly system.
Yeah.
The Tiny Hawk, I think.
What is the Mobile 6? What is that then? Hang on.
And see, here's the bag of props, like I was telling you, get them because you're going to crash.
You need them.
And I agree. I have the Tiny Hawk, and that's what I've been practicing with. And then I have my Fat Shot, and then I have a Tyrannus transmitter that I've been practicing with. But I'm not to a point that I want to publish any videos with it yet.
Oh, come on, Al.
Yeah, it would be fun.
I will. I definitely will. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely worth it. And the Fat Shark, man, I wish I wouldn't have bought him now because if you look at the digital system from DJI, that's the way to go because of the range and the clarity.
So now you're talking John Coopy's language again. He's going to tell you he loves he just switched to the digital system and he has just been gushing about it.
Yeah. I mean, I got everything in there right now. I'm looking at it. I won't go through the trouble getting it, but the Tyrannus controller is really nice. And I got the, what they call the T9, I think it is. Can't remember exactly.
Tiny Hawk.
And that thing is so much fun.
But Al,
I understand why people pinch now. We're always like, why are you a pincher and not a thumber, right? Because, you have your goggles on and you're just letting your hands on there, to get.
Yeah, you probably because instead of using your thumb, you're actually using. It's almost like driving one hand or two hands. I don't know.
And you're flipping the other switches because some of these drones are really nice where you can flip a switch and it'll stabilize it for you. Or the airplane, they'll do the same thing. So I totally get it now, and that's where you got your lanyard and the hook. There's John now. What did he say?
yeah, John said because they did a whole program on Bill Thomas's show where they did pluses and minuses. Gary, what's Gary's name? John Coopy. I can't think of his. That's on Bill Thomas's show. I can't think of his name, but he and John did a back and forth on analog versus digital, and it was a fun exchange.
I mean, it's amazing watching the differences between the two. And DJI just cracked it open, right? They hit it out of the park as usual, right? Big home run with that digital system. But again, it costs you $1,000 to get in the game, So because you got to buy the $600 goggles, and then you have to buy a transmitter that matches up with their, and then you have to couple it to your flight controller just right too. And so, of course, everything's proprietary, so you can't use any other system but theirs. Unlike, the analog system where everybody can put on the goggles and watch you fly.
Hey, Al, another point that I think is worth making, and you kind of touched on it a little bit earlier, is when you're talking about cinematic now, the things that people are doing with FPV drones are rapidly closing in on what you can do with a regular cinematic drone. And they have the advantage, a huge advantage of speed. I mean, some of those things will fly better than 100 miles an hour, right? And they have maneuverability. So even if it's not somebody diving through trees or something, they're getting good quality footage flying over a mountain range or something that you and I, we could do it with our camera drones, but we can't get the natural speed. We could maybe speed it up in post-production, but it just doesn't look the same. The natural
just don't get the same angles, do you?
Right, and the angles, exactly right, Jackie.
I mean,
it's more like an airplane.
I mean, the thing is, I think if you can get if you can buy a cheap enough FPV, I don't mean to say that in a way that you actually get to buy it just specifically to smash it or drown it or whatever. The thing is, so you take it and be patient. And I might even give it a go myself, but because it's one of the things, but I need more time to do that. I mean, time is always sort of like of the essence of thinking, well, I want to go out and fly my Mavic. Well,
Steve, send me a drone and I'll practice with it.
Yeah. Steve, I look forward to your videos, Steve.
Yeah. FPV Steve, eh? Come on, John Coopy, I'll give you a run for your money. Not a chance, John. Well, if anyone wants to watch any FPV videos, please watch John Coopy's videos, and because they are absolutely superb, and we'll feature them on your show again soon. And we've come to the end of the evening, unfortunately. It's been a great pleasure having you on again, and I'm glad things worked out with the Skydio 2. Skydio 2, release it in the UK. Because
and in Europe.
The only person who won't buy one is Gary, right?
I wonder what the import tax is going to be like when you guys receive them.
This is going to be the problem, I mean, the thing is, it's this, that is always a problem. But anyway, and what's this? Well, it shows I'll wear my Drone Seeker shirt as well. Yeah.
Oh,
thank you,
Steve.
Terry's asked me to tell driving down the road, pulled over rest, there was a sign saying no dumping. I only wanted a wee. I'll give it. Gary, thank you ever so much for staying on.
Job, Gary.
Yeah, thank you very much. But anyway, so until next week,
on that note,
it's goodbye from me, it's goodbye from Marcus and Jackie and Al, and we'll see you all again very soon, i.e. next week.
Bye.
Thank you for watching the show tonight. See you next time on the Drone Seekers Sunday Show Live.